Well, greetings everyone, and welcome to a truly special online event today. It's called How to Activate Your Innate Animal Whisperer Skills. Deepen your bond with animals through telepathic communication. My name is Stephen Dinan. I'm the founder and president of the Shift Network, and I am thrilled to be with you here, getting to learn from a woman who has really been at the forefront of the whole field of animal communication, which is sort of the province of shamans of old and psychics here and there, but has really become a field in its own right, where we're really learning core skills about how to relate to animals in a spiritual way, a deeper way, a mutual way. And out of that emerges a whole different kind of relationship with not only animals, really, but the whole natural world. So we are in for a treat, and her name is Penelope Smith. She's often called the grandmother of interspecies telepathic communication. And if you get excited by today, we are so blessed that she's going to be offering a full new 12-week program coming up called Develop Telepathic Communication with Animals that we'll share more about towards the end of the hour if you want to jump in and dive and do more development of these skills yourself. So with that said, Penelope, thanks so much for coming back.
Thank you, Stephen. It's so good to be here.
Well, first of all, I just love this subject because such a deep paradigm shift for humanity to relate in a a space of mutuality, heartfelt resonance, deep appreciation with animals. And people do it sort of instinctively, but like to actually have an ability to make the communication more bi-directional to relate in this way is really such a gift and for all of us. And so I want to first start our hour with a little bit about your journey into this work, since you were one of the key founding figures of it, and really where you stand now in terms of why is this so important for humanity?
Thank you. So I always have loved animals and communicated with animals. I didn't lose my telepathic skill. It is a natural skill that we're all born with. We're all born with the ability to get others' thoughts and feelings. However, we're socialized out of it very young. But it was so beautiful to me, and my connections with animals were so special. When I was told, oh, it's just your imagination, or kids laughed at me, uh, I just decided, okay, I'm going to keep this to myself, but I'm going to keep it.
Mhm. Good
It was
decision.
just, yeah, it was just too beautiful. And so I continued my relationships with animals, which were different than most people around me because most people saw them as inferiors at that time, as inferior beings who we use. They're pets, they're things to give something to us, not have a deep relationship where you're growing together and helping each other on the journey. So, as time went on, I started out as a little kid. I figured I was going to save the world. You know how many little kids have this idea in their head that the world needs changing and they're going to do it. And I had that idea. And of course, we were born, raised with Superman. So it was kind of that idea you're going to just save everything. And then as I got older, it changed into help people and help them to be more happy, to be more aware. And when I became a spiritual counselor for people, I just started applying the techniques I learned for people with animals. Well, it just happened by, in quotes, chance that I had a cat that somebody had left behind when she left town. And this was a cat who was very afraid of everybody. And she pretty much stayed away from everybody and everything except me. And so one day she came in with a severe bite wound down her back. And I got that cats had attacked her. And the thing is, she wouldn't let it heal. No matter what I did to help heal it and take care of it physically, she just wouldn't let it heal. So I said, you know what? I'm going to use the techniques I use with people who have had traumas to help her get through this. So she sat down across from me and I started asking her about her feelings, about what happened. And it was absolutely astounding. She started rolling picture after picture, feeling after feeling, deep incidents. I mean, it was like a parade of things that she had gone through in her life, and releasing tremendous emotion. I really didn't have to do much. I just listened to her and she released it. And after about 20 minutes, again, I didn't know what was going to happen. I had never done this before with an animal, but I was always had the telepathic ability, but now I was using it for something. And it was phenomenal. My roommates thought there was a different cat. I had slipped in a different cat. Instead of being afraid and running as soon as she saw another person, she went up to people and she rubbed them. She jumped on their laps. I mean, people were going, what is this, Peaches? What's with this cat? She suddenly changed. Then her wound healed over very quickly, and she had pretty much torn it open so that her hair was falling out. It healed up within a week. She looked really good. And the most remarkable thing, not only wasn't she afraid of people, but she never again was afraid of other cats. She could go out and they didn't bully her. They didn't immediately jump on her and bully her. And her whole life was different. For the rest of her life, she lived this incredible, happy life as a cat where she was extroverted. She was positive about the world. I mean, she really lived a good life. And I went, whoa, whoa. I said, I've got to see if this applies to other animals. And so that's when it started. That was 1971. And so I just started on the side. I started communicating with other animals who had difficulties or their people had problems with them, asking them questions about it. Not all were so dramatic as Peaches, but everybody changed. Everybody got into a different harmony. People changed. And I went, oh my gosh, this is exactly it. Because my whole focus was that people needed help. I wanted them to be happier and more awake and aware and more themselves. And this was the vehicle. Their hearts were open with their animal friends. They listened. When they found out the animals were aware and that the animals changed after communicating with them and that they could learn how to do this too, people changed enormously. The spiritual growth was amazing. So I just kept practicing it on a lot of different kinds of animals. And then people, of course, found out about me, and then away it went. And I focused in the early years. There were a few other animal communicators, but their focus was more on consultations. And I went, I'm going to educate everybody. I'm going to get out there and I'm going to show everybody that this is in you and it can make your life joyous and we can live differently with other beings on the earth. So I got on every kind of media you could imagine. At the time, of course, magazines, newspapers, radio, TV. I got on everything and just spread the word. And then dog clubs, cat clubs, bird clubs, horse clubs. I went everywhere. And people asked me to teach them. And then I wrote my book. And the whole thing just spiraled. Then I trained other people. And the whole thing kept going and going. And I knew and I envisioned that there would become a time when everybody who wanted to could restore their natural ability to communicate with animals and be much happier because of it.
Mm. That's so beautiful. I love your story. And I mean, particularly dramatic with Peaches and the sort of the recovery
Yeah.
there. And I want to invite you to also share a story about how as I understand it, sort of, you're increasingly see that animals choose to incarnate with us, often to help us with specific
Yes.
healing challenges too. And I think that mutuality, that sort of reciprocal evolution is really one of the most fascinating aspects of what you
It's
do.
really amazing when people find out how aware animals are and how they orchestrate their own lives, and that we have these soul relationships that are very deep, that go from life to life. So instead of looking at animals as these beings who are different than us, well, we just have different costumes. We have different bodies, different experiences because of our bodies, but we're on the same soul journey. And so animals show up on your doorstep. People go, well, I never liked cats before, but once this cat came to me, I knew she was meant to be with me, and my whole life changed. And then when people start to realize the depth of connection that happens with these animals, their whole relationship with the world changes.
Mm.
People start out going, well, I kind of want to know what my dog, if he'd like to eat something different or if he likes his activity. And then they start realizing that this opens your whole perception. Telepathy opens your whole perception of the world and changes you. It's
Mm.
a drastic change in worldview. And I really feel that we're at the forefront of the wave with animals because it applies to everybody. So you can communicate to trees this way, to mountains, rivers, the earth. Everything is alive. It's the Native American saying, everything is alive, everything communicates. When we open to that worldview, we're walking on the earth in a different way than our busy, mind centered Western culture.
Hmm.
And it's restorative to people. So people start discovering their intuitive capacity to receive in different ways, through images, through thoughts, through sounds, through sensations, through intentions, through knowing. And when they apply this, their whole world expands. It's hard to explain what happens with people. They experience it themselves, of course. It's not a belief system, it's an experiential thing. So people start, and of course, they have to believe that it's possible. And then after that, they open to it and everything changes for them. And they go, oh my gosh, I treat my kids differently. I relate to other people differently. I relate to myself differently. And so it's an astounding thing that we're all doing together here.
I love that. And speaking back to the beginning, where people kind of often start from this framework of seeing animals as inferior, or that they're here for just our pets or for our benefit, that kind of extractive mindset really is less enjoyable than is what you're pointing to
Yeah.
is like when we can shift to really living in reverence and communion with other beings on this planet, that's where the real joy comes in. And I think
Yeah,
what
it's
you're
you.
offering is really is a pathway to do that that's really enjoyable, and this
Yeah.
beautiful process of having almost a relational practice field with an animal for the kinds of relationships we need to have with other humans, which are often a little more complicated.
Yes, yes. And animals they show us the way to so many aspects of our life when we listen to them. Instead of feeling divorced from them, when we start to come into this co-relationship and we work together, you suddenly realize, whoa, I can let go of that. I can relax more. And hey, I do want to go out and take a walk. I think I'll just listen to my dog.
That's amazing. Well, let's talk about some of the practicalities of like starting. So, what are I know you do, there's a lot of preparing yourself to enter into a field of more reciprocal communication and telepathy with an animal. So maybe share a little bit about how you kind of prepare to shift out of our kind of normal thinking mind and perception into this deeper realm of connection.
Well, first, it's really important to get quiet. And this is a hard thing for many people because their minds are so busy and they're so focused on doing. And really, to do this, you need to get into a quieter mode. It's more of a meditative mode. And then being with the animal, connecting to the earth. Years ago, the whales told me, get them to connect with animals through their feet on the ground. And so it's very important that you connect with Mother Earth. And through Mother Earth, all the animals are connected to Mother Earth. When we connect to Mother Earth, suddenly we're in a community of all beings. And so grounding, really feeling your connection to the earth, and then looking at the animal as a fellow being. That's a whole different thing than looking them as our cutesy little pet who does things for us or we do things for them. It's a whole different thing. So what happens is people have to kind of settle in to a different mode, but it's in them. It's not like it's something foreign. It's just that you have to kind of take away a lot of distractions in order to access that. But it's also very natural. I point out to people, this is something you haven't been doing.
Hmm.
You actually have been doing this, but you didn't know it because nobody taught you that this even exists. Like if you were in indigenous culture, they would think it was strange that you didn't think animals were fellow beings, that you
Hmm.
didn't think that we were all in this together. but we have to relearn that again, re-feel it again. And once you feel it, you realize, oh, I've felt them before. I've understood them before. And that's what we're going to lead to in our guided meditation, is how we actually have experiences before and what it feels like, so that it can become a more natural way to access our telepathic senses. And also want to explain that telepathic senses are really an extension of our physical senses. It's not like there's something way out there. They're in us, but they're finer tuned. So we need to get a little bit quieter to access them. It's a different kind of a sensitivity. But once we do realize, okay, I can smell what the animal smells. I can see what the animal sees. I can hear what they hear. I can feel what they feel. That's how natural it is. Just like when you're close to people, you know, sometimes people know when a person is about to call them on the telephone. They just know the person is thinking of them. This is a kind of awareness that we're cultivating, something that you've already accessed before. Maybe you didn't pay attention to it that much. And we're going to spend our time paying attention to it so we can develop it.
Mm-hmm. That makes total sense. Well, let's go a little further. And so you talked a little bit about different kinds of trusting of intuition. Maybe share a little bit about how intuitive style is important to understand in the communication process. And
Yes, yes. People are open in different ways. So some people are very visually oriented. I mean, as a species, humans are very visually oriented, like we like movies. But some people are more visually oriented. So they get more easily, they get images from the animal. So if they'll ask the animal, what did you do today while I was gone at work? They'll get images of the animal running to the door or playing with their toys. And then other people have access more to hearing. So they'll get a sense of the animal talking to them. And when you're getting their thoughts and this comes across as hearing, it's a translation. We translate into words, whatever language we speak, whether it's English or German or whatever, we translate it into those words. But the animal is sending you their thoughts. And so you hear it and people get it. Well, I just hear it like an inner voice. And I said, yeah, but they're telling you different things that you wouldn't have known before. So you get this whole explanation of what they did coming across to you as an inner voice. And then other people are more oriented to feelings. So they get emotions. They get, well, I know he's feeling really sad right now that I'm gone for so long. And so they get that sensation. And then there's the feelings, the physical feelings. So people go, well, I can feel he's oriented in a sort of a strange way in the barn. He's kind of backed up against the wall. I wonder what that's about. And so they start to get those kind of feelings. And then other people get a sense of knowing, which sort of encompasses all the senses. They just go, I know, I can feel, I sense. This is what's going on with the animal. And then it's a matter of saying yes to it all. You practice, you say yes to it, and it gets stronger, and the animals show you. So these are the different ways that people can telepathically sense. And then as you practice, you open up to a further range of them, so you can get all the range that's possible and really understand the animal very well.
there's a question that just occurred to me that I haven't thought of before do animals also have this similar kind of diversity of intuitive styles? And we kind of have to learn to, certain animals might be better to project images to versus like a feeling or
I haven't found that to be the case. Really, it's how you receive. They're unlimited. Their senses are all open.
Gotcha.
So they just project what it is they're feeling, what it is they're thinking, and it's how you receive it is how you limit it. If you open up completely, you'll feel it in even waves of energy, all that they're feeling. But no, they're not limited. Even in their physical bodies, where some animals might be blind, they still can send you images of where they are, because telepathic senses are not limited to the body. When you're out of body, when after you die, you still have all your telepathic senses. They're not permanently hooked to the body. So animals can, and all of us, when we leave our bodies, we can see and have all our senses intact, but they're not connected to a nose or ears or eyes anymore.
That makes total sense. One of the things that often comes up, I know in my early intuitive training that I did, it was like this voice of doubt and self-criticism, and sort of how do you work with those in a way that sort of like leads you to trust more what you're receiving?
Well, this is a constant with people. And in our culture, I feel that self doubt is really emphasized for people on intuitive ability. And so it's really a matter of encouraging people to relax and say yes to it and see what happens. See, the animals will validate you. When you get something that is from them, that is genuine, that is not your projections or what you'd like to hear, but directly from them, they like it. They feel good about it. They're more cooperative. They'll respond to you better. When you're projecting and you're going, oh, yeah, a dog thinks this and that and that, the animals don't respond well to that. They often won't even lift their head up or look at you. The problems definitely won't get handled. Nothing changes. But they're very pleased. They're very happy to have their people that they love understand them, or have anybody understand them. When they get humans understanding them, they really like you. you know
Yeah, it's coming back to that story you had of Peaches. It's like it seems like just the act that you had leaned in and understood her so
yeah,
deeply, like just really shifted her. Like, oh, it's like there must be like a kind of a hungering to be met in that way from the human side of the
exactly.
equation.
Exactly. And I feel like what happens, the magic of communication is when you're really being there for another being, whatever their species, and you're really listening and you receive it, there's a feeling of that all is right with the world. Everybody wants to be understood. And it sort of mirrors back to you. Okay, I'm here. Life is good. And that's what happens with animals. They're very straightforward about it. They don't have the socialization of, oh, be polite, don't express your feelings. They just like it or they don't like it. They'll show you they like you or they don't, or this doesn't work for them, and they'll walk away. You'll see people who are spinning around in their heads, and the animals are walking away. They're straightforward.
Yeah, it's straight shooters. Yes, it's great. Well, I know you want to take us on a bit of a journey to start to activate more of these capacities in ourselves, and so why don't we take the time to do that now?
Yes, I'd love to have us all do this meditation. And the purpose of our meditation today is to look at how we may have communicated with animals before and how it works for us. So we're going to get ourselves right here, taking a nice deep breath and letting your body just ease down and settle in your chair. Take another nice deep breath and feel your feet connected to the ground, even through the building that you're in or wherever you are. Feel your connection with Mother Earth. Feel how she supports you and you're in relationship with her. And just let your breathing become natural and easy, feeling yourself arrive right here, right in the moment. As your body relaxes, notice that your awareness naturally becomes quieter and more spacious. You don't have to try hard. Just simply be aware that you're present right here, right now. Now, I'd like you to take a look and remember an experience from your own life Perhaps an experience that happened recently or many years ago. And perhaps it happened when you were a child. As a child, we're often very connected to our animal friends. So let time surface from your memory when you felt a genuine connection with an animal. A moment when you felt you understood one another beyond words. It felt very special to you to be with this animal friend. Don't search too hard. Just let whatever memory naturally arises, whether from yesterday or from many years ago. Trust the first genuine experience that comes up. As you remember this experience, feel as if you were there again. Notice where you are. Notice the animal. Notice yourself. Observe what happened with you and the animal without trying to analyze it. Just be aware of what the experience was for you.
Hmm. Thank you. That was a real blessing to do. Thank you. How do you recommend that we sort of build on what we just did there?
Well, I would continue to take time to remember and also be the same way you were with that animal that you felt you really understood them and they understood them. Be that way with your current animals around you. Assume that that is something you can replicate and feel it with your current animals. And
Hmm.
they'll really appreciate, and they'll appreciate your appreciation when you thank them and they thank you. It's going to make your relationship another level. It's quite fun.
Nice. The next thing I wanted to ask you is really like, so as you open this portal and deepen this relationship, what's your understanding of how, like, how does that really open a deeper understanding of how their world, how they see the world? Like maybe share a little bit about the world through animals' eyes as you know it now.
Well, obviously, each of us, no matter what kind of animal we are, we have a different experience. And when you're a different species, you have a whole different purpose in this world, a different programming, a different way of relating to the world. So your dog and your cat are not going to be thinking the same way that you think about things.
Mhm.
They'll have different priorities. They'll have things in common with you, and then other things where this is what causes a lot of difficulties with people is that they aren't clear with their animal friends what the expectations are about living with humans.
Good roommate hygiene.
No, really, a lot of the things that animal communicators get called for are that a person is not clear about how it works to live with humans, because the cat will go, well, there's no reason for me not to be sitting on the table or on the counter, and the person is going, oh, your hair's in my food. Completely different perspective. The cat wants to get up high and feels really good, very natural for them. And when you start to get their perspective, you either loosen up a lot or just allow that to be and let them enjoy their perspective. Or you can then, by appreciating it, you can then say, well, I really get that. And my perspective is that I really don't like eating cat hair.
The cross-species boundary discussion. That's
And then
good.
you work things out, but you're working things out with an equal, with a
Uh-huh.
partner. And you're totally willing to get their perspective. It isn't just a domination model where you go, okay, I'm the human, you do what I want. And there's no other way to do things. you come into a harmonious relationship and things change. You just walk in a different way, and you definitely have a lot more fun together. I find that people, again, they are doing this very naturally, and you'll get people that are training animals, working with them, dancing with them, doing all these complicated routines. They're communicating with the animal, or nothing would happen if they did not get across what they wanted, and the animal didn't agree that this was a good thing to do with their person. It just wouldn't happen. So you've got a lot of communication going on. And then once people start to look at it and they go, oh, this is what it is. Like, people read my book and they go, oh, that's what it is. I've been doing that all my life. And I go, yeah, yep. And behind the scenes, now we can bring it forward and develop it. And it's a lot of fun.
In the spirit of this sort of deepening mutuality, I'd love to a story of something that kind of brings alive how the animals can actually mirror something back that really we might not otherwise recognize in ourselves and help
Yes.
us grow and evolve.
Yes. And this happens all the time. Of course, we attract beings that help us on our journey. We've been on soul journey with each other for a long time. And so we attract beings that we're going to help each other on the journey. So the being shows you, so your dog is real stubborn and refuses to do anything that you say. And if you're going to really work with that dog, you have to really understand their feelings. And you may find that they're quite similar to you and how you approach life, and why it is that you sometimes don't get along with people. And your dog is just showing you that. And when you loosen up and you work with the dog and the dog lets go of it, you both grow together. You've both in that moment helped each other to grow. It's quite amazing how that works. And we just do this. We just do this naturally. You'll just find you'll attract those relationships that are next on your spiritual path. So people go, oh my gosh, this cat is giving me so much problems. And I go, are they problems, or is it just the growth that's being given to you now? And you start to look at it and you go, wow, this is really causing me to stretch. Otherwise, I'm going to kill that cat, And then they go, well, gee, now I'm more accepting, after working with them for a while, I'm more accepting of this in myself. I had no idea. And oftentimes people find it much easier for animals to mirror things to them than for humans to do it. Humans are such a close mirror that a lot of times people kind of go, oh dear, that couldn't be me. I'm not like that. And so they just reject it and go, I don't like that person, or I don't like what they're doing. But with your animal friends, because you have this heart connection, a lot of times it's easier to get it from them. So they're incredible spiritual, psychological counselors.
That makes total sense. Well, Penelope, it's just so joyful to learn from you and to hear, I mean, be able to get a distillate of your many decades in this field. And I want to spend some time now talking explicitly about your upcoming course, which is a remarkable opportunity to study with you, learn from you, and really osmose this way of being that is much more reciprocal, joyful, and mutual with animals. So we are very blessed. Penelope has agreed to teach this course. It's called Develop Telepathic Communication with Animals. Learn the core skills of being an animal whisperer for healing and deepening your connection with all of life. So, as the title speaks to, this is about our relationship with animals, but it also really is about our relationship with all of life on this planet. And so, moving out of a domination paradigm into a spirit of reciprocal mutuality is a gift for ourselves and all of those around us. And so the program is laid out in detail at animaltelepathycourse.com. And Penelope, I'd love for you to share some of your intentions for what people will come away from the 12 weeks with you with.
Yeah, this is really a special course. It's not only the foundation course that I have taught before with the Shift Network, but we're expanding it to go even deeper. So people will start out really discovering what telepathic communication is, how it works for them, and how to practice it so that they receive more, learn how to receive, and they can apply it in their life. And then that magic happens that you talked about, where we're actually expanding in a way that we give a gift to the whole planet. Our
Mm.
life changes, it changes the people around us. We walk in a different way. I mean, Native American elders talk about this all the time, walking in a different way on the world. And we desperately need it in these times. We
Mm.
need to walk in a different way. So, this is what this course really is about. We get these wonderful connections with our animal friends. We expand it to other species. We expand it to all of life on Earth. And we also learn how to deepen our connection to ourselves and to our own physical body, which I call the physical body our closest animal friend. And people learn that it's a very embodied practice. Telepathy is not something just out there somewhere or in the head. It's really an embodied practice. To be telepathic, and telepathy means feeling at a distance, so feeling across a distance. So you have to be able to feel, you have to be able to sense, you have to be in touch with your feelings. So, what does that do? I mean, that's at the core of many spiritual practices and psychological practices of all realms, feeling and getting back in touch with our bodies. And then we get in touch with the body of Mother Earth and all that she holds and all the bodies she holds. And wow, then we have a big party. So that's that's what people
I
are
love that.
going to come away with.
And I love that we can relate to our own bodies as our closest animal allies. So that's wonderful. So let's go through the modules and at least give a little brief overview of some of what you'll be teaching. So module one is called Create the Foundation for Clear Interspecies Telepathic Communication.
Yeah. So over the years, I found out that people have certain things that they do to stop themselves from communicating. They've been socialized into certain blocks. And so we reveal what those are and we reveal the way to get through them. So we start out with that foundation of how do we do this? And how do we get ourselves out of the way? What's in the way? And how do we get it out of the way?
Module two, reawaken your telepathic animal connection to discover how animal communication works for you.
Yeah, and so this is similar to the meditation we did, where we looked at, okay, we had this connection with an animal. How did I get that connection? Was I receiving images from them? Did I get their feelings? Did I just know what was happening? Did I feel such a sense that we were connected? So you learn how it works for you. And that will be your avenue, your way in. It's what opens the door. I get people later to open all the doors of the senses, but you have an avenue. Everybody has an avenue. You find out what the avenue is, and then you use that, develop it more, and then the others open up to you.
Hmm. Module three, strengthen your telepathic sensing through practice and partner verification.
Yeah, so it's really important that you do get verification from other beings. Otherwise, you're alone out here going, well, oh, I think I got something and maybe it works. But we don't really know as humans until we get it verified. So we do an exercise and we find out that another person's dog really likes to play with a certain kind of a toy, and we maybe get an image of that toy or the feeling of the toy and we describe it, and the person says, oh yeah, that's his big long dolly, and you had gotten that it was very long, it was longer than the dog, and the dog showed you how he likes to shake it and run around with it, and you get verification from the person. Every time you get some verification, especially when you're starting out, you need that verification very much, and repeated verification. Then you get a little bit more confident. Oh, I got something. Okay, this is working. Now I understand how it's working.
Module four, experience the world through another species' perspective for deeper understanding and connection.
Then we go into my favorite mode, which is really sharing the perspective of another being. It goes beyond that there's a being over there and I'm over here and I'm listening to them and they're sending something to me. It goes into now I can feel the other being. I can experience what they smell. I can experience how they taste. I can experience how they view the world from their perspective. And that's hot. That's the best. Then your mind has very little chance to get in the way on when you get really share the perspective of another being, because you realize it's very different than your own. You just couldn't make it up. It's so different.
Module 5, practice calm presence so you can avoid projecting your thoughts and emotions onto animals.
Yeah, so it's sort of the foundation of really all kinds of practices throughout the world of how do we become more of who we are? How do we see another for who they are? You have to calm everything down. If you're busy in your head and everything's noisy and you're feeling anxious, it's very hard to listen to another being. It's very hard to get the perspective. You can't even reach across that space of anxiety, which gets in front of you. So we're going to be practicing some presence exercises, some calming exercises in different ways, from different angles, so that you can learn which one maybe helps you the most. It's a little bit different than straight meditation. We're going to practice in different ways that I've found really help people to be able to receive from an animal.
Module 6, use your imagination to deepen your telepathic communication with animals.
So we're going to reverse that old thing that people said to people who were telepathic. Oh, it's just your imagination. And we're going to say, okay, now we're going to use our imaginations. We're going to use our imagination as a doorway. We're going to validate our imagination. But this is the imagination where we are centered and we open to what is there. And so that's a fun one. That's one I find that when people have difficulty with when we take this from many different angles, when they use the imagination, they kind of get into the childlike mode that you need to get into, and they bust through. They go, oh, that's what I did as a kid. Okay, I can imagine what the spider is thinking. I can do that. And then voila, they're suddenly getting the communication from the spider.
Module 7, apply telepathic communication to solve real-life challenges with animals.
Yeah, so this is where we get real practical. Obviously, we want to be able to do something with this. We want to understand our own animals better. We want to understand why they do things the way they do them, and sometimes annoy us, and because we don't understand what's going on. So we're going to work with other people and their animal friends, and I find that it helps people really to jump out of their own self-focus. And when they get to help another person, suddenly they get the communication better.
So module 8, connect with a wider range of animal species to gain an extraordinary understanding of the diversity of animal life.
Yeah, so we're going to jump into areas that maybe we never went before. Maybe there's animals we always wanted to avoid and that we don't understand or that we're frightened of. And we're going to find that when we open our perspective to all the different kinds of animals we are leaping into a whole different ability. We knock out a lot of our blocks and find that, wow, we can understand other beings that we never understood before. And that's a lot of fun.
Hmm. Module 9, communicate with your closest animal friend, your own body, for greater presence and well-being.
Yeah, so this is a fun one too. A lot of times people do not think of communicating with their own bodies, and you have to realize that this body is composed of a gazillion animals. It's composed of many cells, but many animals, microbes all over the place. I mean, we're talking, this is a whole universe of animals and who are working for us to help keep our bodies together. So when we start to communicate, when we start to realize we can communicate with our bodies, we can also affect our bodies positively. So we can find out what's going on with our organs. We can talk to them. We can communicate with them. They're alive. They communicate. And then our senses expand in another way. We're getting more solid now. We're getting closer to ourselves. We're getting more solidly present with ourselves and the earth. It's
Hmm.
good.
Love that. Module 10 then goes into connect with power animals as allies for greater guidance, healing, and telepathic connection.
Yeah, and through the ages, tribal peoples and shamanic practitioners have connected with beings who are allies in spirit in the form of animals. It's a real natural way to further your telepathic connection. I found that when we work with power animals, that people get a boost to their telepathic perception. They get a helper, somebody who really understands how telepathy works. They also practice telepathy with another being, and it aids their whole flow of increasing their telepathic ability. So I like it. It's fun.
Module 11, communicate with animals in spirit to understand their experience of dying and death.
Yeah, so this is what everybody has to deal with. It's very difficult for people to face their animals dying and death. It's a very poignant time. It can be full of heartache. And when you get the animal's perspective, when you really get what they need when they're dying and how they feel about dying and death, it enlightens you and lightens you. It lifts up some of this feeling of fear or tremendous grief that people have. It's very essential that we face um, life and death together. And animals do it real naturally. They aren't socialized into fearing death. So they just go, well, yeah, okay, the body's going. It's time to lift from the mortal coil.
That's very liberating. And then finally, module 12, distinguish your thoughts and emotions from true animal communication.
Yeah, and this is something that we need to do in a deeper and deeper levels as we carry on. So this will be the final module where we get into a deeper distinguishing and discernment of our own thoughts and feelings versus that of the animal. And so again, another depth of understanding and confidence.
Mm. Well, what a beautiful program this is. You are such an uplifting spirit to spend time around, and I think there's just a rewiring of all of our beliefs and understandings that it happens in your presence and as a result of your own journey of your whole lifetime, really. And so we're really blessed that you're offering this. So I'll share a little bit more about it. Again, the whole program is laid out in more detail at animaltelepathycourse.com. If you choose to move forward, you're going to get those 12 90-minute live sessions with Penelope, which includes interactive practices. There's time to ask your questions live, and you'll get recordings of every session, both video and audio, as well as word-for-word transcripts. There are weekly practices you can do at home. There's a community group online to support you and deepen your experience, as well as small group time to connect with other participants. And on the page, you'll also see a number of extra bonuses that Penelope's been quite generous in including. There's 5 articles from Species Link, the Journal of Interspecies Telepathic Communication. These are all PDF articles, so you want to share more about those?
Yeah. Over the years, Species Link was a quarterly journal that I was the publisher and editor of, and is no longer in print, but it ran for a good run for decades. And in that time, I wrote many things for Species Link, and so did other people. And these sort of are foundation kernels of what telepathic communication is, how it works. And so they're very essential and relevant to our journey in this first course.
Mm. Second bonus is the full ebook from Penelope called Animal Talk, Interspecies Telepathic Communication. Want to share more about your ebook?
Yeah, so this is the foundation book that got many, many people and is continuing to get many people started in the field. And I included in the course because I've always value extra education. So this is something we'll follow along with during the course and that you can keep going back to. So it'll be like a little guidebook for you to review the foundation principles and practices of our work as we go along and expand them in our course.
Mm. Beautiful. And finally, we have one special bonus that folks you'll get if you choose to sign up today by midnight Pacific time. This is an audio teaching with Penelope called How to Know If Telepathic Communication with Animals is Real. Can you share more about that special bonus?
Well, this is one I really love because it's probably the most common question people ask. Well, how do I know it's not my own thoughts? How do I know it's real? How do I know it's really coming from the animal? So here I did a seminar where I answered that question in detail. How do you know if it's real? And here it is.
That's a great reason to sign up today. I'm sure that's a really illuminating bonus. Well, it's clearly going to be such a blessed program and really offer a paradigm shift not only in how you relate to animals, but really to your own body, to all of life, and really this paradigm that's much more joyful and reverential and free of some of the domination, extractive psychology that has permeated our previous relationship with animals. So it's a great blessing to yourself and your animal allies. And we've kept the investment very accessible. It's just three payments of $219. So you save 10% when you pay in full for one payment of $597. The course is going to start on August 19th and run Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. But even if you can't make the live times, you can still get the full value with the recordings, the transcripts, and the community as well. Paige has lots of beautiful testimonials from people who just adore Penelope and her work and have been empowered and blessed, and just a lot of different testimony about how much she really deepens our understanding of the natural world, of animals, of life and shamanism. So there's a lot of great testimonials that really give you a taste of the kind of benefit you will find in your life from doing this work. So again, it's all at animaltelepathycourse.com, and you will get that special bonus by midnight tonight if you sign up by midnight, called How to Know If Telepathic Communication with Animals is Real. So Penelope, it's always so wonderful to be with you. Thank you for your time and wisdom and just radiant presence. And anything that's still on your heart you want to share with folks who are considering doing the full course with you?
Yeah, I love teaching people. I love helping people to find what is so dear to their hearts that unfortunately in our society has been lost for a lot of people. And I just love it when people wake up to this. And it's so beautiful and deep and so much fun. You know, we laugh a lot. You know, it's a very heartfelt and fun thing to do. And as you have said, Stephen, you know, it just shifts everything in this world. And so we go from this sort of serious paradigm of, you know, we're the ones who do all the things on the earth and, you know, we know what we're doing, to we're all living here together.
Mm.
Let's have fun doing it. Let's understand each other and have a good time at it. And what is more fun than communicating with animals?
Sir, that's such a great perspective. Well, Penelope, you're a blessing for all of us. Thank you for your wisdom today. Thank you for this upcoming course. And again, if you would like more information to go further, it's all at animaltelepathycourse.com. And the name is Develop Telepathic Communication with Animals. Learn the core skills of being an animal whisperer for healing and deepening your connection with all of life. And you'll get that special bonus on how to know if telepathic communication with animals is real by midnight tonight. So thank you so much. Many blessings.